morning, students. Today, we are going to learn the acquired and inherited traits in the chapter Hereditary and Evolution. We have discussed the idea that the germ cells of sexually reproducing population are made in specialized reproductive tissues. If the weight of the beetle is reduced because of starvation, that will not change the DNA of a germ cell. So it indicates the starvation will not affect any organism's DNA or even the frequency of a gene. Therefore, low weight is not a trait that can be inherited by the progeny of a starving beetle. So it indicates in the next generation we may not be able to find the population of a beetles of a low birth weight. Therefore, even if some generations of beetles are low in weight because of starvation, that is not an example of evolution since the change is not inherited over generation. The change in non reproductive tissues cannot be passed on to the DNA of a germ cells. Here we are having certain examples such as that is a mice. Therefore, the experiences of an individual during its lifetime cannot be passed on its progeny and cannot redirect evolution. Another example here we are having. If we breed a group of mice, all their progenies will have tails as expected. Now, if a tails of these mice are removed by a surgery in each generation, do these tailless mice have a tailless progeny? No. The answer is no. And it makes sense because removal of a tail cannot change the genes of a germ cell of a mice. In this example, you can see. Here you can see that is a tail of this mice, and in the another one that is a tail has been cut and younger mice all of them are having tails. So it is indicating the cutting of a tails or the removal of a tail what happen will have no idea for the continuation of that characteristic. Thus how these kind of changes on the body what happens without affecting DNA will never change any DNA characteristics or even gene frequency. Hence there is no evolution in these kind of characteristics. So Charles Robert Darwin. So we all know that is Darwin plays a very important role in providing the informations. This is the reason why the ideas of hereditary and genetics that we have discussed earlier are so essential for understanding evolution. Even Charles Darwin, who came up with the idea of evolution of species by natural selection in the 19th century, could not work out the mechanism. So here what happens, we have seen that is in our 8th standard, natural selection, variations and all these things are given up by which one? That is Charles Darwin, isn't it? So later what happens, we all have seen that is Gregor Mendel's experiment, how he had been explained that is the law of inheritance through which one? That is through the pea plants.